Hey, what's up guys, it's BenBonk, and welcome back to the 7th Slimekeep Devlog. In this devlog, I feel like I got a lot of things done, so let's get into it. So the first thing I wanted to prioritize in this devlog was to rework my slime system. Pretty much the old way I was handling making new slimes was really ineffective, and I was kind of just too lazy to go about and make something efficient, so I wanted to prioritize making that efficient and make it easier so I can create new slimes in the future. See, the old way I was doing this is I had an enum inside of my slime script, and I'd store all of my different slime types inside of that enum. Then inside of that same script, whenever I wanted to move, attack, or die, or something like that, I would have to check between all my different slime types, and this was really ineffective. See, if I continue with this down the road, then I would have needed to do a million different check statements inside of my one slime script just to get my different slime types functioning, and I really didn't want my code to turn to complete garbage. So what I opted for was to use inherited classes for handling my different slime types. But before I go any further, I have to thank Chorus inside of my Discord server for helping me all throughout learning about inherited classes and everything about them. I really couldn't have done this without him, and he helped me so much through the whole entire process and took hours out of his day to help me. So here's the plan. I would have one main enemy script that would have many different functions such as move, attack, and die. And this script would kind of be like the brains of the operation. The script would also have all my different slime variables such as move speed or health. It was just my old slime script without the enums and switch statements. Then I would have separate scripts that would inherit from this main slime script, giving me access to its variables and so on. I could then basically write override functions which would say, hey, instead of doing this default attack or move function, use this function instead, which made it so I could write new functions and behaviors for each slime and separate my slimes into different scripts. Overall, doing this gave me so much more control over creating new slimes and made my code so much more clean and organized. Again, thanks to Chorus for helping me through this whole entire process, and I'm so glad I did this because I can't imagine how sloppy my code would have gotten if I hadn't done this. Then I had to spend which felt like absolutely forever setting up my new slimes, actually attaching their new scripts, inputting all their new values, all that different kind of stuff for all my different slimes, which took a very long time, but in the end everything worked just as it was supposed to. Next up, I wanted to work on some more player feedback for my slimes, so I wanted to make it so whenever they would take damage, they would play like a little white flash so you can actually tell that this slime took damage. So I started working on a white flash kind of animation, and eventually I kind of had something working. It was quite clunky overall, and I also made this kind of cool effect whenever the slimes died. I ended up fixing a lot of these things later, as you will see when I reworked this kind of animations, but that was just that for now. Now some of the next things I worked on weren't entirely really related to Slimekeep, but I thought I'd just share them here anyway. And I started making a few console applications and just inside of C# and Visual Studio because I felt like my C# skills need a lot of work and I still have a lot to learn about just C# in general. So this was kind of just an interesting test of like pure C#. So I made this quick game which you can just enter different doors and you'll win or lose. Super simple, I know. I also made a game with the help from Chorus using like inherited classes where you can just use an item, and depending on what inventory slot you are in, I'll use a different item. Simple stuff, but I just thought I'd share that. Getting back to Slimekeep, I've been getting a lot of recommendations that my house and my tree in the starting kind of scene don't look the best and they look kind of out of place. So thankfully 2 people in my Discord, one of them being PolarCube1 and the other being Ron0 Studios, made some new art for both these things. PolarCube made this really cool tree. Unfortunately it was a bit too big at first, but he ended up downsizing it. I think it looked really good in the start scene. And then Ron also made this kind of house concept art. I ended up tweaking it a bit, but huge shout out to both those guys. They made some really good art and for the game, and I'm so glad I actually implemented some of these things, and I think that looks much better overall. I also ended up making a particle system for this house. I think it looks okay. I might switch to traditional pixel animations, but the particle system was just something easy and quick, so I added that, and here's how that looks. Next up, I got working on my enemy knockback system, and as I said, I already kind of had an old knockback system in place, but it was really clunky, so I kind of changed that up, and eventually I got a knockback system up and working. With this knockback system, it's a lot more smooth than my old one, and I can also choose how long enemies get knocked back for, how much knockback speed there is, and all that kind of stuff. And it was a kind of a challenge because it did interfere with kind of my enemy movement system. Eventually I got it working, and I'm really happy with it. Then I made a bunch of small changes. The first one being I just set up all the different knockback amounts for every single different projectile in the game. Then I started working on kind of improving the dash. It seemed like a pretty controversial subject in the comments. There's a lot of feedback given there, so thanks everyone for that. And so I actually ended up making the dash anims kind of fade out faster. I made them, more transparent in the start. a bunch of small changes. I think it looks better, but let me know what you think. And you might have seen in some of the last clips, my gun, whenever I shot it, it would kind of flip upside down, which is just a small quick glitch, but I quickly patched that up, and boom. Then I made a series of small updates to the projectile slime. And the first update I made was I actually made the projectile slimes when they're in the smallest form, they will shoot 1 bullet, and then when they're in their biggest form, they'll shoot 5 bullets. And it used to be like 3 to 7 bullets, but I think it's just easier, just 1 to 5. The player can track it much easier now. It's just a small change, but pretty nice. I'd also been getting a ton of feedback that my enemy bullets are kind of hard to tell which direction they're going in. They don't really stand out enough, and I totally agree. I think that's a really good point. And I kind of want to make these like Gungeon. I think these still might need some work, let me know in the comments, but I added this short bullet trail renderer, so now I think these stand out. You can see what direction they're going in. I think it's nice, but yeah. And then finally, one more small change I made is I made a kind of shooting range to the projectile slime. So pretty much before he'll shoot, he'll check if he's in like the certain range of the player. I just did this because I didn't want like shooting from super far away. It's like the bigger they are, the actually more range they have to shoot. It's just a small change. I think it's good for performance just on one thing, and it also makes them, you know, kind of scale better as you can shoot from farther ranges as they grow. So here's what all these changes look like. As you can see, my guy, if he's not in range, he will not shoot at you, but once he gets in range, he will actually shoot bullets at you. So you can see, he shoots 2 bullets, these bullets have like small trails, and everything just works. I think I'm pretty happy with these changes, but again, let me know if you have any feedback. Now the last small change before we get into a really big change is I just kind of improved the katana swing. I think it looks a little better now. I just made it more snappy. I got some feedback that it was looking a little slow. So I just made it like attack, swing out faster, just come out faster. I kind of want to like still add a swing effect for my katana, but I still couldn't really figure that out. But I'm going to plan to add that in the future, so I tried to improve the katana just a little bit. And then I started working on something that was going to be one of the biggest changes for my slimes, and this was new slime animations. Pretty much what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that each slime has their own unique and pixel art made slime jump and slime wind up animations. See, previously I was using Unity's built-in animation system, and pretty much every single slime behaved the same exact way. They each had the same exact wind up animation, just made with Unity animator system, and it was pretty much just for the squash down, leap back up, just using, the scaling tool. But this didn't look the best, honestly. And I really wanted to just make custom pixel art animations, which I thought would look a million times better. So that was my goal. But before I get too far into this, I have to thank PolarCube1 again for making so many of the slime animations. He pretty much made the basis for every single slime animation, wind up and jump in the game. I had to personally add a few more frames in each of the animations to make them look a little bit more smooth and just make some small tweaks. But overall, he did all the foundation, everything. So super nice of him to do all that for me, and I can't thank him enough. So then I got to editing the pixel art sprite sheets for these slimes. It took quite a bit of time just to, move them up a frame, but it made them look a lot more smooth, and it's definitely a necessary addition. And eventually I exported these and I got them into Unity. Then I had to do something that was extremely painful and took up so much of my week. And this thing was hooking up the animations inside of Unity. This took forever just to slice my sprite sheets, actually make the transitions, make my animations, make all the different animators. All that stuff took absolutely forever and it was such a pain. So my strategy going into this was to make my time between jumps inside of my enemy script, the variable of that, to be the exact same length of my enemy wind-up animation length. So this way I could kind of control exactly how I want that. Right when the animation ends, it'll move to the jump state, and it's kind of hard to explain, but pretty much this jump time, or how long I'm jumping for, is the exact same length as my enemy jump animation. So whenever that animation ends, that's also when he ends jumping, so I don't have to mess around with any complex numbers. And so it gives me a lot of control because I can just add an extra keyframes if I want him to wait longer and all that kind of stuff. So after spending some time setting up the animations, here's what I got. They kind of looked okay. They didn't really look bad. They looked better than my old animations for sure, but something seemed kind of off. Then I made a really quick slow motion button that I could toggle, and as you can see, my slime animations, they kind of seem to be jumping and moving before they actually fully release into their jump state. And after this whole entire process, I had to spend so much time making sure the animations play at the right speeds, make them look natural, just not make them look like they're playing too slow or too fast, which I'm still kind of trying to fix and make that perfect to this day. Something you might have noticed in the last devlog is that my assassin slime seems pretty big. Like, compared to all the other slimes, they start off extremely small and get bigger, but he already starts off pretty big just overall. And I really wanted to fix this, so I hopped into Sprite and actually started making him start off smaller in general, so he looks a little more like the other slimes. And I just pretty much downsized him, removed like the last two large assassin slimes, and just turned them, made two more smaller ones. I think this is a pretty nice addition, just making them look smaller in general, but you still can notice the changes. I also made some changes to my regular slime's jump animations and their wind up animations to make it look so when they actually jump, that's when they actually jump, and when they actually are winding up, they won't move until they're actually in their jump animation. So after setting every single thing up and a lot of tedious work, here's what my slime animations look like for my regular slime. I think they look pretty good, honestly. I don't know if there's anything else I really need to tweak or add to them, but let me know what you guys think of them. I think they look pretty good. They're much better than my old slime animations, and definitely a step in the right direction. Next slime I started working on was the bomb slime, and again I did the same boring process, setting up animations, animators, getting everything set up. Really not too entertaining, honestly, and it's just really annoying and not that entertaining. But eventually I did get it done, and here's what these guys look like. So again, here's what the bomb slimes look like after I set everything up. They're very similar to the regular slimes, just go down and up. Not too much different to add. I also want to add that I'm going to actually, make sure to make custom upgrade animations, as right now I haven't really got that implemented just yet. But yeah, I think these guys look fine, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. At this point, I thought I should just mention that I did actually take a 3-day break from working on Slimekeep. I went somewhere with my family, and I guess it was pretty nice just taking a break from Slimekeep, because I've been working on it for multiple hours every single day, and just taking a break from my computer and just general was pretty nice. And so that's kind of really the reason why this devlog is a little late, but just thought I'd throw that out there. Then right when I got back and working on Slimekeep, I started working on the projectile slime animations. So pretty simple, again, not too much to add. I just spent many hours setting up these animations. I think they look, just fine. Really not too much else to say, but I did spend many hours setting up the projectile slime animations. One thing I have been noticing though is that sometimes my death animations do not play, and this is something that I've had that many times that has just been reoccurring. It feels like I fix it, I change something, and then it just comes back, and I hate this issue, and I spent so long trying to fix it. And so I decided that I was going to try to actually tackle it this time. And again, I spent more than I really needed to try to fix it. And it turned out all I really had to do was just make a spool inside of my animations. And so whenever I want to move or transition to my wind up animations, and whenever I die, I can just set that bool to false. And so then when I'm playing my death animation, I cannot transition to any of my other move or wind up animations, which will fix it from those animations actually interrupting my death animation. So it's a really simple fix, but I'm really glad I got that done. Then I moved on to my assassin slimes, and of course I did the same tedious process of setting up the move animations for them. As you can see, again, they work, they actually dash. I had to fix kind of, the attacking and the dashing, because that kind of changed when I reworked the kind of slime logic. But yeah, again, animations play. There's that kind of the new slime work, or the new slime assassin artwork in there, which I think looks a lot better overall. Just they start off smaller, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the absolute final thing I did in this devlog was I actually ended up backing up Slimekeep, because I kept on thinking, what happens if I accidentally something happened to it, and I really wouldn't want to lose all my progress that I've made so far. So yeah, I spent some time just learning how to use GitHub, kind of followed Bracky's tutorial, and so now I have Slimekeep backed up. I'm continuing to do this every single week, just in case, being safe, and I think it's pretty smart, and I'm glad that I'm doing this. So I hope you guys did like this video. This is going to be pretty much the end. I got a lot of things done because this was about 10 days of work during all this work. So yeah, if you did like the video, maybe leave a like, subscribe. My Discord is in the description. I have all my links in the description if you want to check those out. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you again have any feedback, feel free to DM me or leave a comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.